பித்தா பிறை சூடி பெருமானே அருளாளா. பித்தா பிறை சூடி பெருமானே அருளாளா. எத்தான் மறவாதே நினைக்கின்றேன் மனத்து உன்னை. பித்தா பிறை சூடி பெருமானே அருளாளா. எத்தான் மறவாதே நினைக்கின்றேன் மனத்து உன்னை. வைத்தாய் வெண்ணை தென்பால் வெண்ணை நல்லூர் அறுத்துறையுள். வைத்தாய் பெண்ணை தென்பால் வெண்ணை நல்லூர் அறுத்துறையுள். அத்தா உனக்காளாயினி அல்லேன் எனலாமே. That's a beautiful Padigam, Sundara Padigam, Anuradhaji. It's wonderful to begin the day with Abhishekam with here. Om Namah Shivaya. So Raji, Om Namah Shivaya. Deepti ji, Om Namah Shivaya. So we'll get going in a couple of minutes. Om Namah Shivaya. So as of now, it's just me and Swamini. Annie had something to do, so she may not be here. And also Gayatri Kumar, she may show up later on, but pretty much it's me and Swamini as of now. So please bear with us. We will try to run the Abhishekam and the rest of the show. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om புளியர்கோன் வெப்பொழித்த புகலியர்கோன் கடல் போற்றி. ஆளிமிசை கண்மிதப்பில் அணைந்த பிரான் அடி போற்றி. வாழி திருநாவலூர் வன் தொண்டர் பதம் போற்றி. ஊலிமலை திருவாத ஊரர் திருத்தாள் போற்றி. அருள் நெறிய மறைவல்ல முனியகந்தன் பொய்கை அலர்மேய. அருள் நெறிய மறைவல்ல முனியகந்தன் பொய்கை அலர்மேய. திருநெறிய பிரமாபூரம் அன்னம். திருநெறிய பிரமாபூரம் மேவிய பெமான் இவன் தன்னை. ஒரு நெறிய மனம் வைத்துணர் ஞான சம்பந்தன் உரை செய்த. ஒரு நெறிய மனம் வைத்துணர் ஞான சம்பந்தன் உரை செய்த. சம்பந்தன் உரை செய்த. சம்பந்தன் உரை செய்த. திருநெறிய தமிழ் வல்லவர். இருநெறிய தமிழ் வல்லவர் தொல்வினை தீர்தல் எளிதாமே. சிவாய. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஓம் ஆதூன இந்திரக்ஷமந்தம் சித்ரங்கிராவம் தங்கிருபாய. மகாஹஸ்தி தக்ஷிணேன வித்மாஹித்வா ஆது விகோர்மிந்து விதேஷ்ணந்து விமகம். விமாத்ரமவோபிஹி நஹித்வா சுரதே சமர்த்தா சோதித்சந்தம். வேமன்னகாம் பாரயந்தே ஏதானந்த்ரன் சபாமேசானம் வஸ்வஸ்வராஜம். நராதசாமர்த்திசன்னஹ பிரஸ்தோஷது பகாசி சஸ்ரவத்சாமகீயமானம். ஆவிராதச ஜுகுரத் ஆனோ பரதக்ஷிணேன அபிசவ்யேன பிரம்ருஷம். இந்திரமானவசோர் நிர்பாக உபக்ரமஸ்வரதிருஷதா ஜனானாம். ஆசுச்சரஸ்ய வேதாஹ इन्द्रय उनुते अस्ति वाचा विप्रेभिः सनित्वः अस्मावं सुतं सनुहे सत्यजुवस्ते वाजाः अस्मभ्यं विश्वश्चन्द्र सैश्चमक्षुजरन्ते निशिषीदगणपते गणेषु त्वमाहुर्विप्रथमं कवीनां नरते त्वत्क्रियते किञ्चनारे महामर्कं भगवन् चित्रमर्च अभिख्यानामगवन्नादमानान् सखे बोधिवसुपथे सखीनां रणङ्कृतिरणकृत्सत्यशुष्मा भक्ते छेदाभजाराये अस्मान् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे विङ्कवीनामुपमस्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ महागणाधिपतये नमः। अस्मिन् बिम्बे महागणाधिपतिं ध्यायामि। संवर्धाग्नितरित्प्रदीप्तकनक प्रस्पर्तितेजोरुणं गम्भीरध्वनिसामवेदजनकं ताम्राधरं सुन्दरम् अर्धेन्दुदुतिलोलपिङ्गलं जटाभारप्रबद्धोदकं वन्दे सिद्धसुरासुरेन्द्रनमितं पूर्वमुखं शूलिनः। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय। ॐ ह्रीं नमः शिवाय। पूर्वाङ्गमुखाय नमो नमः। ॐ तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्र प्रचोदयात्। ॐ अघोरेभ्यो तघोरेभ्यो घोरघोरतरेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यो सर्वसर्वेभ्यो नमस्ते अस्तु रुद्ररूपेभ्यः। कालाभ्रभ्रमराञ्जनदुतिनिभं व्यावृत्तविङ्गेक्षणं कर्णोद्भासितभोगिमस्तकमणिं प्रोत्भिन्नदंशाकुरं सर्पप्रोदकपालं शुक्तिसकलं व्याकीर्णताशेखरं वन्दे दक्षिणमीश्वरस्य वदनं चाथर्वनादोदयम्। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय। ॐ ह्रीं नमः शिवाय। दक्षिणाङ्गमुखाय नमः। सद्यो जातं प्रपद्यामि सद्यो जाताय वै नमो नमः। भवे भवेनाति भवे भवस्व मां भवोद्भवाय नमः। प्राळेयाचलमिन्दुकुन्दधवळं गोक्षीरफेन प्रभं भस्माव्यङ्गमनङ्गदेहदहनं ज्वालावलिलोचनं ब्रह्म विष्णु मरुद्गणार्चितपदं ऋग्वेदनादोदयं वन्देऽहं सकलं कलङ्करहितं स्थानोर्मुखं पश्चिमम्। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय। ॐ ह्रीं नमः शिवाय। पश्चिमाङ्गमुखाय नमः। वामदेवाय नमो ज्येष्ठाय नमः श्रेष्ठाय नमः रुद्राय नमः कालाय नमः कालविकरणाय नमो बलविकरणाय नमो बलाय नमो बलप्रमतनाय नमः सर्वभूतदमनाय नमो मानोन्मनाय नमः। गौरं कुङ्कुमपङ्कितं सुतिलकं ह्यापाण्डुमण्डस्थलं भ्रूविक्षेपकटाक्षवीक्षणलसत् संसिक्तकर्णोत्फलं स्निग्धं बिम्बफलाधरं प्रहसितं नीलालकालाङ्कृतं वन्दे याजुषवेदघोषजनकं वक्त्रं हरस्योत्तरम्। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय। ॐ ह्रीं नमः शिवाय। उत्तराङ्गमुखाय नमः। ईशानः सर्वविद्यानामीश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्रह्मणोऽधिपतिर्ब्रह्मा शिवो मे हस्तु सदा शिवो व्यक्ताव्यक्तनिरूपितं च परमं शत्रुं च तत्त्वादिकं तस्मादुत्तरतत्त्वमक्षरमिति ध्येयं सदा योगिभिः ओङ्कारादिसमस्तमन्त्रजनकं सूक्ष्मातिसूक्ष्मं परं वन्दे पञ्चममीश्वरस्य वदनम् अव्यापितेजोमयम् ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय ॐ ह्रीं नमः शिवाय ऊर्ध्वाङ्गमुखाय नमः. We will chant Lagunyasam now. ॐ मतात्मानगं शिवात्मानं श्रीरुद्ररूपं ध्यायेत् शुद्धस्फटिकसङ्कासं त्रिनेत्रं पञ्चवक्त्रकम् गङ्गाधरं दशभुजं सर्वाभरणभूषितं नीलग्रीवं दशाङ्काङ्कं नागयज्ञोपवीतिनं व्याघ्रचर्मोत्तरीयं च वरेण्यम् अभयप्रदं कमण्डलवक्षसूत्राणां धारिणं शूलपाणिनं ज्वलन्तं पिङ्गलजटाशिकां वृषस्कन्दसंहारूढं भूमादेहार्दधारिणम् अमृतेनाप्लुतं शान्तं दिव्यभोगसमन्वितं दिग्देवतासमायुक्तं सुरासुरनमस्कृतं नित्यं च शाश्वतं शुद्धं ध्रुवम् अक्षरमव्ययं सर्वव्यापिनं ईशानं रुद्रं भै विश्वरूपिणम् एवं ध्यात्वा द्विजः सम्यक् ततो ह्यजनमारभेत् ॐ प्रजनने ब्रह्मा तिष्ठतु पादयोर्विष्णुतिष्ठतु हस्तयो हरतिष्ठतु बाह्वोरिन्द्रतिष्ठतु जठरे अग्नितिष्ठतु हृदये शिवतिष्ठतु कण्ठे वसवतिष्ठन्तु वक्त्रे सरस्वती तिष्ठतु नासिकयो वायुर्तिष्ठतु नयनयो चन्द्रादित्यो तिष्ठेताम् कर्णयोरश्विनो तिष्ठेतां ललाटे रुद्रा तिष्ठन्तु मूर्ध्यादित्या तिष्ठन्तु शिरसि महादेव तिष्ठतु शिखायां वामदेव तिष्ठतु पृष्ठे पिनाकी तिष्ठतु पुरतः शूली तिष्ठतु पार्श्वयो शिवशङ्करो तिष्ठेताम् सर्वतो वायुर्तिष्ठतु ततो बहिः सर्वतो अग्निर्ज्वाला माला परिवृत तिष्ठताम् सर्वे संगेषु सर्वा देवता यथास्थानं तिष्ठन्तु मां रक्षन्तु सर्वान् महाजनान् रक्षन्तु ॐ अग्निर्मे वाचि श्रुतः वाक्हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम् अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि वायुर्मे प्राणेः श्रुतः प्राणो हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम् अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि सूर्यो मे चक्षुषि श्रुतः चक्षुर्हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम् अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि चन्द्रमा मे मनसि श्रुतः मनो हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम् अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि दिशो मे श्रोत्रे श्रुताः श्रोत्रगं हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम् अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि आपो मे रेतसि श्रुताः रेतो हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम् अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि पृथिवी मे शरीरे श्रुताः शरीरगं हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम् अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि ओषधि वनस्पतयो मे लोमसु श्रुताः लोमानि हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि इंद्रो मे बले श्रुतः बलगं हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि पर्जन्यो मे मूर्ध्नि श्रुतः मूर्धा हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि ईशानो मे मन्यो श्रुतः मन्युर्हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि आत्मनि श्रुतः आत्मा हृदये हृदयं मयि अहम अमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि पुनर्मात्मा पुनरायुरागात् पुनः प्राणः पुनराकूतमाकात् वैश्वानरोरश्मिभिर्वावृधानः अन्तत्तिष्ठतमृतस्य गोपाः अस्य श्रीरुद्राध्याय प्रश्नमहामन्त्रस्य अघोरऋषिः अनुष्ठिप्छन्दः शङ्कर्षणमूर्तिस्वरूपो योऽसावादित्यवरमपुरुष स एष रुद्रो देवता ॐ नमः शिवायेति बीजं शिवतरायेति शक्तिः महादेवायेति कीलकम् ताम्ब सदा शिवप्रसादसिद्ध्यर्थे जपे अभिषेके विनियोगः ॐ अग्निहोत्रात्मने अङ्गुष्ठाभ्यां नमः तर्षपूर्णमासात्मने तर्जनीभ्यां नमः चातुर्मास्यात्मने मध्यमाभ्यां नमः निरूढपशुबन्धात्मने अनामिकाभ्यां नमः ज्योतिष्ठोमात्मने कनिष्ठिकाभ्यां नमः सर्वकृत्वात्मने करतलकरपृष्ठाभ्यां नमः अग्निहोत्रात्मने हृदयाय नमः हर्षपूर्णमासात्मने शिरसे स्वाहा चातुर्मास्यात्मने शिखायै वषट् निरूढपशुबन्धात्मने कवचायहं ज्योतिष्ठोमात्मने नेत्रत्रयाय वौषट् सर्वकृत्वात्मने अस्त्राय पठ भूर्भुवस्वरोमिति दिग्बन्धः ध्यानम् आपादालनभस्थलान्तभुवनब्रह्माण्डमाविस्फुरत् ज्योतिस्फाटिकलिङ्गमौलिविलसत्पूर्णेन्दुवान्तामृतैः हस्तोकाप्लुतमेकमीशमनिशं रुद्रानुवाक्कान् जपन् ध्यायेद्दीप्सितसिद्धये ध्रुवपदं विप्राभिषिञ्चे शिवम् ब्रह्माण्डव्याप्तदेहवसतिः मुरुचा वासमाना भुजङ्गैः कंठे कालाकपर्दा कलितशशिकला चण्डकोदण्डहस्ताः त्रयक्ष रुद्राक्षमाला प्रणतभयहरा शाम्भवा मूर्तिभेदाम् रुद्रा श्री रुद्रसूक्त प्रकटित विभवा न प्रयच्छन्तु सौख्यम् ॐ घनानान्त्वा घनपतिं अवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमस्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् संच मे मयश्च मे प्रियंच मे निकामश्च मे कामश्च मे सोमनसश्च मे भद्रंच मे श्रेयश्च मे वश्यश्च मे यशश्च मे भगच्च मे द्रविणञ्च मे यन्ता च मे दत्ता च मे क्षेमक्ष मे धृतिश्च मे विश्वञ्च मे महच्च मे संविच्च मे ज्ञात्रञ्च मे सूच्च मे प्रसूच्च मे क्षीरञ्च मे लयञ्च मृतञ्च मे मृदञ्च मे यक्ष्मञ्च मे नामयच्च मे जीवादुच्च मे दीर्घायुत्वञ्च मे नमित्रञ्च मे वयञ्च मे सुगञ्च मे शयनञ्च मे सूसा च मे सोदिनञ्च मे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We'll now do Rudram and Abhishekam. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namaste Rudramanyavatote Ishabhe Namaha. Namaste Asti Dhanvane Bhahubhyam Tathe Namaha. Yata Ishu Shivatama Shivam Bhabuvate Danuhum. Shiva Sarukya Yata Vatayana Rudramadaya. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanura Ghora Papakashini. यानस्तनुभा मह्यः गिरिशन्ताभिचाकशीः यामिषं गिरिसन्तः हस्ते बिभर्ष्यस्तभे शिवाङ्गिरित्रतां कुरु माहि किंसे पुरुषं जगत् शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिजाच्च वदामसि यथा नः सर्वमिज्जगतः यक्ष्मगुं सुमनः असत् अद्य भोजदधि भक्ता प्रथमो दैव्योऽभिषक् अहेगिञ्च सर्वान् जम्बयन् सर्वाश्च यादधान्यः असौ यस्ताम्रो अरुणभुत बभ्रुष्मङ्गलः ये क्षेमागं रुद्रा अभितो धिक्षुश्रुता सहस्रतो वैशागं हेडयीमहे सव्यवसर्पधि नीलग्रीभो विलोहितः उतैनं गोपा अदृशन्नदृशन्मुदहार्यः उतैनं विश्वाभूतानि सदुष्टमुडयातिनः नमस्ते नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मेरुषे अथो यस्य सत्त्वानोऽहं तेभ्यो करन्नमः प्रमुञ्चतन्मनस्त्वहोरात्निर्योज्याम् याश्च ते हस्तैषभपराता भगवोवप वदत्यतनुस्वगं सहस्राक्षसतेषु ते शीर्षल्यान्हामुका शिवो नः सुमना भव यज्यन्दनः कपर्दिनः विशल्यबाणभागं मुत अनेशन्नच्चेसव आभुरस्य निषङ्गतिः या ते हेतिर्मे दुष्टमहस्ते बभूव ते धनुः ताह्यास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मह्य परिभुज नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधाय नादताय धृष्णवेः उभाभ्यां तथे नमो बाहुभ्यां तव तन्मने परिथे धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तु विश्वतः अतो येषु दुस्तभारे अस्मन्निदेहितं तम्बभे नमः। ॐ नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्रयम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्धकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। नमो हिरण्यबाहवे सेनान्येषां च पतये नमो नमः वृक्षेभ्यः हरिकेशेभ्यः पशूनां पतये नमो नमः सस्पिञ्जराय तुसीमते तीनां पतये नमो नमो बभुजाय बिभ्यादिनेन्नान्हां पतये नमो नमो हरिकेशायोपवीतिने पुष्टानां पतये नमो नमो भवस्य हेत्यै जगतां पतये नमो नमो रुद्राय तथा विने क्षेत्राणां पतये नमो नमः सूताय हन्त्याय वनानां पतये नमो नमो रोहिताय स्तपतये वृक्षाणां पतये नमो नमः मन्त्रिणे वाणिजाय कक्षाणां पतये नमो नमः भुवन्तये वारिवस्कृताय औषधीनां पतये नमो नमः उच्चैर्घोषाय क्रन्दयते पत्तीनां पतये नमो नमः कृष्णभीताय दावते सत्त्वनां पतये नमः नमः सहमानाय निव्यादिनः व्यादिनीनां पतये नमो नमः ककुवाय निषङ्गिनेः स्तेनानां पतये नमो नमो निषङ्गिने युषिधिमते तस्कराणां पतये नमो नमो वञ्चते परिवञ्चते स्तायूनां पतये नमो नमो निचेरवे परिचराय अरण्यानां पतये नमो नमः सृकाभ्यो जिगागं सद्भ्यो मुष्णतां पतये नमो नमो सिमद्भ्यो नक्तञ्चरद्भ्य प्रकृन्तानां पतये नमो नमो उष्णीषिणे गिरिचराय कुलुञ्चानां पतये नमो नमः हिसुमद्भ्यो तन्भाविभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः तन्भानेभ्य प्रतिददानेभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः यच्छद्भ्यो शिषद्भ्यश्च हो नमो नमः स्यद्भ्यो विद्यद्भ्यश्च हो नमो नमः आसीनेभ्यः शयानेभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः स्वपद्भ्यो आग्रद्भ्यश्च हो नमो नमः तिष्ठद्भ्यो दावद्भ्यश्च हो नमो नमः सभाभ्य वावदिभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः अश्वेभ्यः स्वपदिभ्यश्च हो नमः नमाभ्यादिनीभ्यो विद्यन्तीभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः गणाभ्यस्त्रिगम्हतीभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः गृत्सेभ्यः गृत्सपदिभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः व्रातेभ्यो व्रातपदिभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः गणेभ्यो गणपतिभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः विरूपेभ्यो विश्वरूपेभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः महद्भ्यः शुल्लकेभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः रथिभ्यो अरथेभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः रथेभ्यो रथपतिभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः सेनानिभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः शत्रुभ्य संगृहीतृभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः तक्षद्भ्यो रथकारेभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः कुलालेभ्यः कर्मारेभ्यश्च हो नमो नमः पञ्जिष्ठेभ्यो निषादेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः सुकृद्भ्यो धन्मकृद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमो मृगयेभ्यः स्वनिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः स्वभ्यः स्वपतिभ्यश्च वो नमः नमो भवाय च रुद्राय च नमः सर्वाय च पशुपतये च नमः नीलग्रीवाय शितिकण्ठाय च नमः कपर्दिने च व्युत्तकेशाय च नमः सहस्राक्षाय च सततन्वने च नमो गिरिशाय च शिविविष्टाय च नमो मेरुष्टमाय च श्रीमते च नमो ह्रस्वाय च वामनाय च नमो भते च वर्षीयसे च नमो वृद्धाय च संवृद्वने च नमो अग्रिहाय च प्रथमाय च नमः शवे चाजिराय च नमः शीघ्रियाय च शीभ्याय च नमोर्म्याय च वस्वन्याय च नमः स्रोतस्याय च द्वीप्याय च नमो ज्येष्ठाय च कनिष्ठाय च नमः पूर्वजाय च परजाय च नमो मध्यमाय च पगल्भाय च नमो जगन्याय च बुद्निहाय च नमः सोभ्याय च प्रतिसर्याय च नमो याम्याय च क्षेम्याय च नमः उर्वर्याय च कल्याय च नमः श्लोक्याय च अवसान्याय च नमो वन्याय च कक्षाय च नमः श्रवाय च प्रतिश्रवाय च नमः आशुसेनाय च आसुरताय च नमः सूराय च अवभिन्दते च नमो वर्मिने च वरुतिने च नमो बिल्मिने च कवचिने च नमः श्रुताय च श्रुतसेनाय च नमाधन्धव्याय च हनन्याय च नमो धृष्णवे च प्रमृषाय च नमो धूताय च प्रहिताय च नमो विषङ्गिने च सुधिमते च नमः तीक्ष्णे च वेचायुधिने च नमः स्वाहिदाय च सुधन्वने च नमः श्रुत्याय च पत्याय च नमः खाट्याय च नीप्याय च नमः सूद्याय च सरस्याय च नमो नाद्याय च वैसन्ताय च नमः गोप्याय च वट्याय च नमो वर्ष्याय च वर्ष्याय च नमो मेघ्याय च विद्युत्याय च नमः हेद्रियाय च तप्याय च नमो वात्याय च रेश्म्याय च नमो वास्तव्याय च वास्तुपाय च हर हर नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमस्ताम्राय च अरुणाय च नमः शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च नमः उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे वदाय च दूरे वदाय च नमो हन्त्रे च अनीयसे च नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्ताराय नमः शम्भवे च मयोभवे च नमः शङ्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ नमः शिवाय च शिवतरा ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ नमः शिवतराय च ॐ नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ नमस्तीत्याय च गौल्याय च नमः पार्याय च भार्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय च उत्तरणाय च नमः थार्याय च आह्लाद्याय च नमः सस्प्याय च वैन्याय च नमः सिकत्याय च प्रवाह्याय च नमः हिरण्याय च प्रपद्याय च नमः किगंशलाय च शयनाय च नमः कपर्दिने च पुलस्ते च नमः गोष्ट्याय च गृह्याय च नमः स्थल्प्याय च गेह्याय च नमः खाट्याय च वरिष्ठाय च नमो हृदयाय च निमेष्प्याय च नमः पांसव्याय च रजस्याय च नमः शुष्क्याय च हरित्याय च नमः लोप्याय च लप्याय च नमः होर्व्याय च सूर्म्याय च नमः पर्ण्याय च पर्णसत्याय च नमः पकुरमाणाय च विघ्नते च नमः आख्यदते च प्रख्यदते च नमः वक्रिकेभ्यो देवानागं हृदयेभ्यो नमः विक्षीणकेभ्यो नमः वचन्वत्केभ्यो नमः निर्हतेभ्यो नमामि वत्केभ्यः द्राभेन्दसस्पथे दरिद्रन्नीललोहिताम् येषां पुरुषाणां हेषां पशूनां माभिर्मार्होमु येषां किञ्चनाममते याते रुद्रशिवा तनु शिवा विश्वाह वेशजी शिवा रुद्रस्य वेशजी तया नामडजीवसे इवागं रुद्राय तपसे कपर्दिने च यद्वीराय प्रपरामहे मतिम् यथा न समसुतिपथे चतुष्पथे विश्वं पुष्टं ग्रामे अस्मिन्ननातुरम् उडानो रुद्र तन्होमयस्कृतिक्षयद्वीराय नमसा विधेमते यच्चञ्चयोश्च मनराय जय पिता ततश्याम तव रुद्रप्रणीतो मानो महान्तमतमानो हर्भखं मानवक्षन्तमतमानवक्षितं मानवधी पितरं मोतमातरं प्रियमानस्तनुव रुद्ररीरिषः मानस्तोकेतनैः मानायुषिमानः गोष्मानः अश्वेशरीरिषः वीरान्मानो रुद्रभामितवधीर्हविस्मन्तो नमसा विधेमते आरात्ते घोग्नहुतपूरुषग्ने च यद्वीराय सुं नमस्मेते अस्तु रक्षाक्षणोदि च देव बृह्यताशन शर्म यच्छद्विवर्हाः स्तुहि श्रुतङ्गर्थसदं युवानं मृगन्न भीममुपहत्नमग्रं मुडाचरित्रे रुद्रस्तवानो अन्यन्ते अस्मन्निवपन्तु सेनाः परिणो रुद्रस्य हेतुर्वणक्तपरित्वेषस्य धुर्मतिरघायोः अवस्थिरामगवद्भ्यस्तनुस्वमेध्वस्तोकायतनयाय मृडय मेरुष्टमशिवतमः शिवो नः सुमना भव परमे वृक्षायिदन्निधाय कृत्तिं वसानाचरं पिनाकं बिभ्रदाग्यहि विकिरदविलोहित नमस्ते अस्तु भगवः यास्ते सहस्रगं हेतयोन्यमस्मन्निवपन्तु ताहम् सहस्राणि सहस्रदा बाहुस्तव हेतयः तासामीशानो भगव पराचीनामुखः कृति सहस्राणि सहस्रसो ये रुद्र अधिभौम्याहं तेषागं सहस्रयोजने वदन्वानि तन्मसि अस्मिन् महत्यर्णवेऽन्तरिक्षे भवा अदि नीलग्रीवासिदिकण्ठां सर्वा अधः क्षमाक्षराः नीलग्रीवासिदिकण्ठादिभगं रुद्रा उपसृताः ये वृक्षेषु सस्पिञ्जरा नीलग्रीवा विलोहिताः ये भूतानामधिपतयो विशिखासक्कपर्दिनः ये अन्नेषु विद्यन्ति पात्रेषु पिबतो जनान् ये पदाम्भधिरक्षय हैलवृधायव्युदः ये तीर्थानि प्रचरन्ति श्रुकावन्तो निषङ्नः हेतावन्तश्च भूयागं सच्च दिशो रुद्रावितस्तिरे तेषागं सहस्रयोजने वदन्वानि तन्मसि तमो रुद्रेभ्यो ये पृथिव्या ये अन्तरिक्षे ये दिव्ये सामन्नं वातावर्षमिषवस्तेभ्यो दश प्राचीर्दश दक्षिणास प्रतीचीर्दशोदीचीर्दशोद्वास्तेभ्यो नमस्ते नामडयन्ति ते ह्यं दुष्मो यश्च नो द्वेषितं वो जम्बे ददामि त्रयम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मृतात् त्रयम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात् त्रयम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात् त्रयम्बकं यजामहे सौगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात् त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं 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 पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात् यो रुद्रोग्नव्योऽप्स्यो सुधीर्यो रुद्र विश्वभुवनवेश तस्मै रुद्राय नमोऽस्तु तमुष्टिवेश सुदन्भाय विश्वस्य क्षयतिवेशजस्य यक्ष्वामहेशो मनसाय रुद्रन्नमो अभिर्देवमसरन्धुवस्य अयं मे हस्तो भगवान् अयं मे भगवत्तरः अयं मे विश्ववेशजोऽयं शिवाभिमर्शनः एते सहस्रमैधं पासा मृत्युमर्त्याय गन्तवे तान् यज्ञस्य मायया सर्वानवयजामहे मृत्यवे स्वाहा मृत्यवे स्वाहा ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय विष्णवे मृत्युर्मे पाहि प्राणानां ग्रन्थिरसि रुद्रो मा वेशान्तकः तेनाप्यायस्व नमो रुद्राय विष्णवे मृत्युर्मे पाहि सदाशिवोम् ॐ एकाक्षमे पञ्चचमे सप्तचमे नवचमे एकादशचमे त्रयोदशचमे पञ्चदशचमे सप्तदशचमे नवदशचमे एकविंशतिश्चमे त्रयोविंशतिश्चमे पञ्चविंशतिश्चमे सप्तविंशतिश्चमे नवविंशतिश्चमे एकत्रिंशच्चमे त्रयत्रिंशच्चमे चतुस्रच्चमे अष्टौचमे द्वादशचमे षोडशचमे विंशतिश्चमे चतुर्विंशतिश्चमे अष्टाविंशतिश्चमे द्वात्रिंशच्चमे षट्त्रिंशच्चमे चत्वारिंशच्चमे चतुश्चत्वारिंशच्चमे अष्टाचत्वारिंशच्चमे वाजश्च प्रसवश्च पिजश्च कृतिश्च सुवश्च मूर्धाश्च वैष्णयश्चान्त्यायनश्चान्त्यश्च भावनश्च भुवनसाधिपतिश्च ॐ इडा देवहुर्मनुर्यज्ञनि बृहस्पतिरुक्ता मदानि सगं सुसत् विश्वे देवासूक्तवाच पृथिवीमातर्मामाहिंसे मधुमनिष्ये मधुजनिष्ये मधुवक्ष्यामि मधुवदिष्यामि मधुमतीं देवेभ्यो वाचमुद्यासगं शुश्रूषेण्यः मनुष्येभ्यस्तं मा देवा वन्तु शोभायै वितरोणम् हर हर नमः पार्वतीपतये Hara Hara Namah Parvati Pataye. 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 தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி, ஏகம்பத்துரை எந்தாய் போற்றி, ஆகம்பெண்ணுரு ஆனாய் போற்றி, காவாய் கனகத்திரளே போற்றி, காயிலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி, அண்ணாமலைக்கு மன்னா போற்றி, கண்ணார முதக்கடலே போற்றி போற்றி. ஓம் சிவாய திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். சிவாய திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஓம் ஜாதவேதசேஷனவாமசோ மமராதி யதோ நிதஹாதி வேதः சனப்பர்ஷதி துர்காணி விஸ்வானாவேவ சிந்தம் துரிதாத்யக்னிः வாமக்னிவர்ணாம் தபசா ஜலந்திம் மைரோச்சனீம் கர்மஃபலேஷு ஜுஷ்டாம் துர்காம் தேவீகம் சரணமஹம் பிரபத்யே. சுதரசிதரசே நமः. अग्ने त्वं पारयानव्यो अस्मान् स्वस्ति विरति दुर्गानि विश्वाः ओश्च पृथ्वी बहुलान भुर्वी भव तोकाय तनयाय संयोहं विश्वानिनो दुर्गः जातवेद सिन्धुन्ननावा दुरितादिपर्षि अग्ने त्रिभन्मनसा घृणानो अस्माकं बोध्यविता तनूनाम् तनाजिदगं सहमानमग्रमग्निगं भवेम परमा सदस्तात् तनपर्षति दुर्गानि विश्वाचामध्येवो अतिधुरिताद्यग्निः रत्नोऽसि कमीड्य अध्वरेषु सनाश्च होतानव्यस्स सत्से पञ्चाग्ने धनुवं विप्रयस्वास्मभ्यं च सोपगमाय जस्व कविर्जुष्टमयि जोनिषिक्तं तवेन्द्रविष्णोर् अनुसञ्चरेम आकर्ष्य पृष्ठमपि संवसानो ओकयुगमादयन्तम् ॐ कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गी प्रचोदयात्. कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गी प्रचोदयात्. कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गी प्रचोदयात्. ओम शांति शांति शांति. अमृताभिषेकमस्तु. हर हर नमः पार्वतीपतये. हर हर महादेव. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி, ஏகம்பத்துரை எந்தாய் போற்றி, பாகம் பெண்ணுரு ஆனாய் போற்றி, காவாய் கனகத்திரளே போற்றி, கயிலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி. ஓம் நாமலைக்கு மன்னா போற்றி, நாரமுத கடலே போற்றி போற்றி. அமிர்தாபிஷேகமஸ்து. ஓம் நம சிவாய. ஓம் நம சிவாய. ஓம் நம சிவாய. ருத்ர நாமாவளி பூஜாஞ்ச கரிஷ்யே. வாஹவே நமः. सेनान्ये नमः. दिशाञ्चपतये नमः. नमो वृक्षेभ्यो नमः. हरिकेशेभ्यो नमः. पशूनां पतये नमः. सस्पिञ्जराय नमः. श्रीमते नमः पथीनां पतये नमः नमो बप्लुषाय नमः विभ्यादिने नमः अन्नानां पतये नमः हरिकेशाय नमः उपभीतिने नमः पुष्टानां पतये नमः नमो भवत्स्यहेत्यै नमः जगतां पतये नमः रुद्राय नमः आतताविने नमः क्षेत्राणां पतये नमः नमः सूताय नमः अहन्त्याय नमः वनानां पतये नमः नमो रोहिताय नमः स्थपतये नमः वृक्षाणां पतये नमः नमो मन्त्रिणे नमः वाणिजाय नमः कक्षाणां पतये नमः भुवन्तये नमः वारिवस्कृताय नमः औषधीनां पतये नमः नमो उच्चैर्घोषाय नमः आक्रन्दयते नमः पतीनां पतये नमः कृष्णभीताय नमः धावते नमः सत्त्वनां पतये नमः नमः सहमानाय नमः दिव्यादिने नमः आव्यादिनीनां पतये नमः मक्ककुबाय नमः निषङ्गिने नमः स्तेनानां पतये नमः ओनिषङ्गिने नमः विसुधिमते नमः तस्कराणां पतये नमः मो वञ्चते नमः परिवञ्चते नमः स्थायूनां पतये नमः नमो निचेरभे नमः परिचराय नमः अरण्यानां पतये नमः नमस्सृकाविभ्यो नमः जिगागुंसद्भ्यो नमः मुष्णतां पतये नमः नमो सिमद्भ्यो नमः तञ्चरद्भ्यो नमः प्रकृन्तानां पतये नमः नमो उष्णीषिणे नमः गिरिचराय नमः कुलुञ्चानां पतये नमः महिषुमद्भ्यो नमः तन्भाविभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमो तन्भानेभ्यो नमः प्रतिददानेभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नम आयच्छद्भ्यो नमः उषुजद्भ्यश्च नमः वो नमः मत्स्यद्भ्यो नमः विद्यद्भ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नम आसीनेभ्यो नमः शयानेभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नम स्वपद्भ्यो नमः जाग्रद्भ्यश्च नमः वो नमः तिष्ठद्भ्यो नमः धावद्भ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमः सभाभ्यो नमः सभापतिभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमो अश्वेभ्यो नमः स्वपतिभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमाभ्यदिनीभ्यो नमः विविद्यन्तीभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः मुगनाभ्यो नमः सृगंहतीभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमो गृत्सेभ्यो नमः गृत्सपतिभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमो भ्रातेभ्यो नमः व्रातपतिभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमो घनेभ्यो नमः गणपतिभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमो विरूपेभ्यो नमः विश्वरूपेभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमो महद्भ्यो नमः शुल्लकेभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः मोरतिभ्यो नमः आरतेभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः मूर्तेभ्यो नमः रथपतिभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमः सेनाभ्यो नमः सेनानिभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नक्षत्रभ्यो नमः संग्रहेतृभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः मत्तक्षद्भ्यो नमः रथकारेभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमः कुलालेभ्यो नमः कर्मालेभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमः पुञ्जिष्ठेभ्यो नमः निषादेभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः मैषिकृद्भ्यो नमः धन्वकृद्भ्यश्च नमः वो नमः मृगयेभ्यो नमः स्वनिभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमस्त्वभ्यो नमः स्वपदिभ्यश्च नमः वो नमः नमो भवाय च नमः रुद्राय च नमः सत्वाय च नमः पशुपतये च नमः मोनीलग्रीवाय च नमः निधिकण्ठाय च नमः कपर्दिने च नमः युक्तकेशाय च नमः नमः सहस्राक्षाय नमः सदन्वने च नमः मोगिरिशाय च नमः क्षिपिविष्टाय च नमः मोमेरुष्टमाय च नमः विष्णुमते च नमः मोहस्वाय च नमः वामनाय च नमः मोबृहते च नमः वर्षीयसे च नमः नमो वृद्धाय च नमः संवृद्धने च नमः नमाग्र्याय च नमः प्रथमाय च नमः नमाशवे च नमः अजराय च नमः नमशीघ्रियाय च नमः शीभ्याय च नमः महोर्म्याय च नमः अवस्वन्याय च नमः नमस्रोतस्याय च नमः द्वीप्याय च नमः महाज्येष्ठाय च नमः कनिष्ठाय च नमः मपूर्वजाय च नमः अपरजाय च नमः मध्यमाय च नमः अवकल्पाय च नमः मोजगन्याय च नमः बुद्न्याय च नमः नमस्सोभ्याय च नमः प्रतिसत्याय च नमः नमो याम्याय च नमः क्षेम्याय च नमः नमो उत्पत्याय च नमः कल्याय च नमः नमस्लोक्याय च नमः अवसान्याय च नमः नमो वन्याय च नमः कक्ष्याय च नमः नमस्रवाय च नमः प्रतिस्रवाय च नमः नम आशुसेनाय च नमः आशुरताय च नमः नमः सूराय च नमः अवभिन्दते च नमः वर्मिने च नमः वरुतिने च नमः बिल्मिने च नमः कवचिने च नमः श्रुताय च नमः श्रुतसेनाय च नमः नमो धुन्दिभ्याय च नमः अहनन्याय च नमः मधुष्णवे च नमः प्रमुषाय च नमः मधूताय च नमः प्रहिताय च नमः मोनिषङ्गिने च नमः विशुद्धिमते च नमः तीक्ष्णे च वे च नमः स्वायुधाय च नमः सन्मने च नमः श्रुत्याय च नमः पथ्याय च नमः काठ्याय च नमः नीप्याय च नमः सूद्याय च नमः सरस्याय च नमः मोनाद्याय च नमः वैशन्ताय च नमः कूप्याय च नमः वट्याय च नमः वर्ष्याय च नमः अवर्ष्याय च नमः मोमेघ्याय च नमः विद्युत्याय च नमः मीध्र्याय च नमः अतप्याय च नमः मोवात्याय च नमः रेश्म्याय च नमः वास्तव्याय च नमः वास्तपाय च नमः मत्सोमाय च नमः रुद्राय च नमः मस्ताम्राय च नमः अरुणाय च नमः शङ्गाय च नमः पशुपतये च नमः उग्राय च नमः भीमाय च नमः मोग्रेवदाय च नमः धूरेवदाय च नमः मोहन्त्रे च नमः अनीयसे च नमः वृक्षेभ्यो नमः हरिकेशेभ्यो नमः नमस्ताराय नमः नमः शम्भवे च नमः मयोभवे च नमः नमः शङ्कराय च नमः मयस्कराय च नमः नमः शिवाय च नमः शिवतराय च नमः नमस्तीत्याय च नमः कूल्याय च नमः नमः च नमः वार्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय च नमः तरणाय च नमः माथार्याय च नमः आलाध्याय च नमः वशस्प्याय च नमः फेन्याय च नमः नमस्कृत्याय च नमः प्रभाह्याय च नमः वीरण्याय च नमः प्रपत्याय च नमः मुकिंशलाय च नमः क्षायनाय च नमः प्रपत्तिने च नमः पुलस्ते च नमः गोष्ठ्याय च नमः गृह्याय च नमः स्थल्प्याय च नमः गेह्याय च नमः काट्याय च नमः गह्वरेष्ठाय च नमः नमो हृदयाय च नमः निवेश्याय च नमः पां सुव्याय च नमः रजस्याय च नमः शुष्क्याय च नमः हरित्याय च नमः लोप्याय च नमः लप्याय च नमः पूर्व्याय च नमः शूर्म्याय च नमः पन्याय च नमः पर्णसद्याय च नमः पगुरमानाय च नमः विघ्नते च नमः नमाकिदते च नमः प्रकिदते च नमः नमो विकृगेभ्यो नमः ओ नमः वक्किर्गेभ्यो नमः देवानागमहृदेभ्यो नमः नमो विक्षीणकेभ्यो नमः चिन्वत्केभ्यो नमः नमानिहतेभ्यो नमः आमि वत्केभ्यो नमो नमः द्रापे अंधसस्पथे दरिद्रन्नीललोहित येषां पुरुषाणामेषां पशूनां मावेर्मार्होमो येषां किञ्चनाममत् ओम शिवाय नमः ओम महेश्वराय नमः ओम शंभवे नमः ओम पिनाकिने नमः ओम शशिशेखराय नमः वामदेवाय नमः विरूपाक्षाय नमः कपिने नमः नीललोहिताय नमः शंकराय नमः शूलपाणे नमः वाञ्जने नमः विष्णुवल्लभाय नमः ओम शिवविष्ठाय नमः अंबिकानहताय नमः त्रिकण्ठाय नमः भक्तवत्सलाय नमः वाय नमः सर्वाय नमः त्रिलोकेशाय नमः यतिकण्ठाय नमः शिवाप्रियाय नमः उग्राय नमः कपालिने नमः ओम कामहारे नमः ओम अंधकासुरसूदनाय नमः गंगाधराय नमः लालाटाक्षाय नमः कालकालाय नमः कृपानिधे नमः भीमानम वर्षस्थानम मृगफानेनम जटाधरानम कैलासवासनम कवचनेनम कठोरानम त्रिपुरांतकानम शांख्यानम शभारूढ़ानम अस्मद्धूलित विग्रहानम सामप्रियानम सर्वमयानम त्रयमूर्तिनम मनीश्वरानम सर्वज्ञान परमात्मने नमः सोमसौर्यानिलोक्षणानम विषयनम यज्ञमयानम सोमानम चोक्त्रानम सदाशिवानम विश्वेश्वरानम वीरभद्रानम गणनाथानम प्रजापतेनम हिरण्यरेतसनम दुर्दर्शानम गिरीशानम गिरीशानम आनघानम जंघभूषणानम वर्गानम गिरिसमनानम गिरिप्रियानम शिरोवरारात्यां भगवतीनम प्रमदाधिपाय मृत्युंजयनम सूक्ष्मतनवेनम जगद्व्यापनम जगद्गुरवे नमो व्योमकेशाय नमः महासेन जनकाय नमः चारुग्रमाय नमः रुद्राय नमः भूतपते नमः स्थानवे नमः हिर्बुद्ध्याय नमः दिगंबराय नमः अष्टमूर्तिर्नमः अनेकात्मने सात्विकाय नमः शुद्ध विग्रहाय नमः शाश्वताय नमः खंडपरस्वे नमः मजाय नमः पाशविमोचकाय नमः मृडाय नमः शुभदे नमः देवाय नमः महादेवाय नमः अव्ययाय नमः हरे नमः मगनहेत्रपदे नमः अव्यक्ताय नमः दशत्वरहराय नमः वराय नमः व्यग्राय नमः सहस्राक्षाय नमः सहस्रपदे नमः अवक्रदाय अनन्ताय नमः तारकाय नमः अम्बसदाशोरमेश्वर स्वामिने नमो नमः அப்பா போற்றி அரணே போற்றி என்னை போற்றி எழுத்தே போற்றி என்குணா போற்றி ஒருவா போற்றி ஒப்பிலா போற்றி ஓங்காரா போற்றி சடையா போற்றி சங்கரா போற்றி சதுரா போற்றி பொன்னே போற்றி பொருளே போற்றி மன்னே போற்றி மணியே போற்றி மணாளா போற்றி மஞ்சா போற்றி குறியே போற்றி குணமே போற்றி கூத்தா போற்றி குன்றே போற்றி தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி போற்றி. ஓம் நம சிவாய. 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 ஓம் தசாங்கம் குலம் சுகந்தம் சுமனோரம் கபிலாகர சம்யுக்தம் தூபோயம் ரதிகீர்த்திதாம் ஊரசிதோர்வம் தூர்வந்தம் தூர்வதம் யாஸ்மான் தூர்வதிதம் தூர்வயம் வயம் தூர்வாமஸ்வம் தேவாநாமசேன் அஸ்திதமம் பப்ரிதமம் ஜுஷ்டதமம் வன்னிதமம் தேவஹூதமமாஹூர்த்தமசேன் அவிர்தானகம் விஸ்வாம் ரூபமாக்ராபயாமி. சாங்கம் குலம் ரூபம் சுகந்தம் ஸ்மனோஹரம் கபிலாகர சம்யுக்தம் ரூபோயம் ரதிகிரியதாம் பிரத்யக்ஷதீபம் தரிசயாமி. தேப்யஸ்ய ஜாதவேதோபக்ஞன்னரரதிம் மம பசோதிஷ்மயமாவஹ ஜீவனம் சதிஷோ திசம் மானவகின்சி ஜாதவேதோ காமஸ்வம் புருஷம் ஜகதிம் அபிவ்ருதக்னாகஹி ஸ்ரீயாமாம் பரிபாத்தய தூபதீபானந்தரம் ஆச்சமனியம் சமர்ப்பயாமி. நைவேத்யம் நிவேதயாமி. ஓம் மதுபாதாருதாயதே மதுக்ஷரந்தி சிந்தவஹ மாத்வேன சந்தோஷதிஹ மதுநக்தமுஷோசசி மதுமத்பார்த்திவகம் ரஜஹ மதுர்ஜரஸ்தின பிதாம் மதுமானா வனஸ்பதி மதுமாகம் அஸ்து சூர்யः மாத்வீர்காவோ பவந்து நः. மது 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 சர்வம் மதுத்வம். ஓம் பூர்புவஸ்வர்கோதேவஸ்திமே யோ யான பிரச்சோதயாத் சத்யம் துவர்த்தேன பரிசுஞ்சாமி. नैवेद्यानन्तरमाचार्यं समर्पयामि। हस्तप्रक्षालनं समर्पयामि, पादप्रक्षालनं समर्पयामि, मुखप्रक्षालनं समर्पयामि, मध्ये मध्ये अमृतपानीयं समर्पयामि, भोजनं समर्पयामि। योगीबलसमायुक्तं नागवल्लीदलैर्युतं कर्पूर्णचूर्णसंयुक्तं ताम्बूलं हृदयगृह्यताम् येलालवङ्गसंयुक्तं ताम्बूलं समर्पयामि। कर्पूरनीराजनं दर्शयामि। ॐ नीराजनं सुमाङ्गल्यं सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभम् अहं भक्त्या प्रदास्यामि स्वीकरस्वदयानिधे तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकं नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयम् अग्निः। स्वामिने कुतोऽयम् अग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासां सर्वमिदं विभाति। तस्मै पञ्चमगं होत प्रत्यशृणोत पञ्चहोतो भवत् पञ्चहोतो हवैनामेषः संवाहेतं पञ्चहोतगं तं पञ्चहोतेत्य परोक्षेण परोक्षप्रियाय हि देवाः आत्मन्नात्मन् नित्यमन्त्रयतन्। तस्मै सप्तमगं होत प्रत्यशृणोत सद्भूतो भवत् सद्भूतो हवैनामेषः संवाहेतं सद्भूतगं तं सद्भूतेत्य परोक्षेण परोक्षप्रियाय हि देवाः आत्मन्नात्मन्नित्यामन्त्रयत। नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्रयम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्धकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमो नमः। पुष्पं समर्पयामि अपां पुष्पं वेद पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति चन्द्रमा वा अपां पुष्पं पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति। एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति। अग्निर्वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। योऽग्निरायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति। आपो वा अग्निरायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति। वायुर्वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। यो वायुरायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति। आपो वै वायुरायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। यहेवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति। असौ वै तपन्नपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। यो मुष्यतपतायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति। आपो वा अमुष्यतपतायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति। चन्द्रमा वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। यश्चन्द्रमसः आयतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति। आपो वै चन्द्रमसः आयतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति नक्षत्राणि वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति यो नक्षत्राणाम् आयतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वै नक्षत्राणाम् आयतनम् आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति पर्जन्यो वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति यः पर्जन्यस्यायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वै पर्जन्यस्यायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति संवत्सरो वा अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति यत्संवत्सरस्यायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति आपो वै संवत्सरस्यायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति य एवं वेद योऽप्सुनाभं प्रतिष्ठितां वेद प्रत्येव तिष्ठति राजाधिराजाय प्रसय्यसाहिने नमो वयं वै श्रवणाय कुर्महे रामे कामान् कामकामाय मह्यं कामेश्वरो वै श्रवणो ददातु कुबेराय वै श्रवणाय महाराजाय नमो नमः भुजगेश्वर स्वामिने नमो नमः वेदोयुक्त मंत्र पुष्पं समर्पयामि Please offer your flowers. Vedamavadharayam Om
Agnimihile Purohitam Yagyasya Devam Rutvicham Hotaharam Ratnadatamam Harihi Om
Om Yajnarakshaka Swamine Yajurveda Priyaha Yajurvedamavadharayam
Ishet Vojapa Vayavasto Vayavasta Devo Vasavita Prapayatu Shreshtatamaya Kanmane Harihi Om
Om Samba Sadashiva Parameshwara Swamine Namo Namaha Samagana Priyaha Samaganamavadharayam
Agnaya Hipitaye Grunano Havyadataye Nihota Satsi Barhishi Harihi Om
Om Agama Rakshaka Swamine Atharvana Veda Priyaha Atharvana Vedamavadharayam
Sanno Devi Rabistaya Apo Bhavantu Pitaye Sanyora Visravantunaha
Harihi Om
Nakarmana na prajaya dane na tyage na ke amrutatpamana sho parena nakam nihitam guhayam viprajate tatyatayo vishanti Vedanta Vijnana Sunishtitata Sannyasa Yoga Yataya Shuddha Sattvaha Te Brahma Loke Tu Parahanta Kale Paramrutat Parimuchanti Sarve Dahram Dipapam Parameheshma Bhutam Yat Pundarikam Puramadhyasa Kastam Tatrapidaram Gaganam Vishokas Tasmin Yadantas Tadupasitavyam Yo Vedadav Svara Prokto Vedante Cha Pratishtitaha Tasya Prakriti Vinasya Yaparasa Maheshwaraha
Harihi Om Jnana Sambandhavagi Salala Sundara Manivachakadhiye Manastotra Priyaha Devahara Priyaha Devahara Mavadharayam
Sotunai Vediyan Sodivanavan Puttunai Tirundari Purunda Kaitola Sotunai Vediyan Sodivanavan Puttunai Tirundari Purunda Kaitola Katrunai Putior Karalil Pachinam Natrune Avadu Namachivayave Natranayavadu Namachivayave Tiruchitrambalam.
அன்னல்லே என ஆண்டு கொண்டருளிய அமுதே, விண்ணிலே மறைந்து அருள் புரி வேத நாயகனே, கண்ணினால் திருக்கையிலையில் இருந்த நின் கோலம் நன்னினான் தொழ மகிழ்ந்தருள் புரியன பணிந்தவார் வேத நெறிதழைத் தோங்க மிகு சைவத்துறை விளங்க, வேத நெறிதழைத் தோங்க மிகு சைவத்துறை விளங்க, பூத பரம்பரை பொலிய புனிதவாய் மலர்ந்தழுத சீதவள வயற்புகலி திருஞான சம்பந்தர், திருஞான சம்பந்தர் பாத மலர் தலை கொண்டு திருத்தொண்டு பரவுமாம். வாழ்க அந்தனர் வானவர் ஆனினம், வாழ்க அந்தனர் வானவரானினம், வீழ்க தன்புணல் வேந்தனும் ஓங்குக, ஆழ்க தீயதெல்லாம் அரண் நாமமே, சூழ்க வையகமும் துயர் தீர்கவே. வான்முகில் வளாது பெய்க மலிவளம் சுரக்க, மன்னன் கோன்முறை அரசு செய்க, குறைவிலாதீர்கள் வாழ்க, நான்மறை அறங்கள் ஓங்க, நற்றவம் வேள்வி மல்க, மேன்மைகள் சைவ நீதி விளங்குக உலகம் எல்லாம், மேன்மைகள் சைவ நீதி விளங்குக உலகம் எல்லாம். ஆறிரு தடந்தோள் வாழ்க அருமுகம் வாழ்க வெற்பை, ஆறிரு தடந்தோள் வாழ்க அருமுகம் வாழ்க வெற்பை, கூறுசை தனிவேல் வாழ்க குக்குடம் வாழ்க செவ்வை, கூறுசை தனிவேல் வாழ்க குக்குடம் வாழ்க செவ்வை, ஏரிய மஞ்சை வாழ்க யானைதன் அணங்கு வாழ்க, ஏரிய மஞ்சை வாழ்க யானைதன் அணங்கு வாழ்க, மாறிலா வள்ளி வாழ்க வாழ்க சீரடியார் எல்லாம், மாறிலா வள்ளி வாழ்க வாழ்க சீரடியார் எல்லாம். ஹர ஹர நம பார்வதி பதயே, ஹர ஹர நம பார்வதி பதயே, ஹர ஹர நம பார்வதி பதயே. எந்நாடிடு சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி, ஏகம்பத்துரை எந்தாய் போற்றி, பாகம் தென்னொரு ஆனாய் போற்றி, காவாய் கனகத்திரளே போற்றி, கையிலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி, அண்ணாமலை மன்னா போற்றி, கனாரமுதம் கடலே போற்றி போற்றி, சிவாய திருச்சிற்றம்பலம் தில்லையம்பலம். ஸ்வஸ்தி.
Om Swasti Prajavyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithivih Shalini Deshoyam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Harihi Om.
ओम स्वस्ति मंत्रार्था सत्या सबला सन्ति यदि भवन्तु महान्तान् गृह्णन्तु। देवदेवोत्तम देवता सर्वभौम अखिलांड कोटि ब्रह्मांड नायक श्री विजयी भव। सृष्टि सिद्धि संहार तिरोधन अनुग्रह पंचकृत्य परायणस्य अत्र विराजतमान कामाक्षी देवी समेत भुजगेश्वर स्वामिनस्य अद्यनुष्ठितमान भानुहासर प्रातः काल रुद्राभिषेक आराधन षोडशोपचार रुद्र त्रिशति शिव अष्टोत्तर शतनामावली पूजा मध्ये संकल्प प्ररब्धेत क्षण पर्यन्तं संभावित समस्त मंत्रलोपे तंत्रलोपे क्रियालोपे नैवेद्यानीतलोपे सर्वं शास्त्रानुष्ठितं भूयात् इति भवन्तु महान्तो न गृह्णन्तु तथास्तु ॐ यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि तानि विनश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपदे पदे अन्यथा चरणं नास्ति तमेव चरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष भुजगेश्वर रक्ष रक्ष परमेश्वर साष्टांग नमस्कारान् पंचांग नमस्कारान् समर्पयामि। ओम ब्रह्ममुरारिसुरार्चितलिङ्गं निर्मलभाषितशोभितलिङ्गं जन्म च दुःखविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् देवमुनिप्रवरार्चितलिङ्गं कामदहं करुणाकरलिङ्गं रावणदर्पविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं सर्वसुगन्धिसुलेपितलिङ्गं बुद्धिविवर्धनकारणलिङ्गं सिद्धसुरासुरवन्दितलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं कनकमहामणिभूषितलिङ्गं पानिपतिवेष्टितशोभितलिङ्गं दक्षसुयज्ञविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं कुङ्कुमचन्दनलेपितलिङ्गं पङ्कजहारसुशोभितलिङ्गं सञ्चितपापविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं देवगणार्चितसेवितलिङ्गं भावैर्भक्तिविरेवचलिङ्गं दिनकरकोटिप्रभाकरलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् अष्टदलोपरि वेष्टितलिङ्गं सर्वसमोद्भवकारणलिङ्गम् अष्टदरिद्रविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं सुरगुरुसुरपरपूजितलिङ्गं सुरवनपुष्पसचार्चितलिङ्गं परात्परं परमात्मकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा। ओम नमः शिवाय 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 ओम नमः ओम नमः शिवाय 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 शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः ओम नमः शिवाय 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Tridalam Trigunakaram Trinetram Kshatriyayudam Vijnanam Papasamharam Ekavilvam Sivarpanam Ekavilvam Sivarpanam Ekavilvam Sivarpanam. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 That completes our service for this morning. So, like I mentioned, we would continue with the rest of the lectures, which is about 10-15 minutes left over on that Tattva Bodham. So, please stay put for that, and then I'll see all of you next week. And then we have Gayatri Kumarji who joined us, and the big help during the cleanup and Alankaram. And then Abhijit Pandyaji joined us during our Aarti. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Even for the 1 unit of human joy is a real tall order. A good youth, well versed in scriptures, well disciplined, resolute, and very strong. So that is only 1 unit of joy. Only 1 unit. Okay, that's 1 millimeter, right? Okay. And what else? Te ye shatam manushya gandharvanaamanandaha sayego deva gandharvanaamanandaha srotriyasya chakamahatasya. So on and so forth, it goes on. That this is the category. So even the joys of these devas, they're limited. Joy of Indra is limited. Joy of Brahaspati is limited. Joy of Prajapati is limited. So Brahman alone is unlimited. So today our class focus is different. So we'll move on. So the first 2 qualities were Viveka, Vairagya, and the third of the Sadhana Chatushtayam, because it's a 4-fold qualification. So in the third category, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, here there are 6 aspects. 6 aspects: Samadhama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhana. So Shankara, when the student asked him, what are these Sadhana Chatushtayam, what are these 4-fold qualifications? The third one he mentioned was Viveka Vairagya, third Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. So then the question is asked, what is the Samadhi Sadhana Sampatti Ka? What is the Samadhi? Then Shankara says, Samadhama, which means Samaha, Tamaha, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanancha iti. Now what do you think the student is going to ask? That's what happens. So he says, what is Shama? Samaha kaha. What is Sama? Then Shankara says, Mano nigraha. Next question, okay. Damaha kaha. What is Dama? Then Chakshuradiba Hendriya Nigraha. In very simple terms, it defines Samaha kaha. What is Sama? Control or mastery over the mind. Shankara starts with the mind first. Now, why he says control over the mind? Because if you remember, in the very beginning of our very classes, it was in 2016, sometime in July, before we started Shatarudriyam. In the Hanuman Chalisa, we talked in detail the psychology of how the mind and the senses become partners and then cheat the intellect. So we discussed this in detail. So here it's very briefly mentioned. That's exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Samaha kaha. What is sama? Mano nigraha. So control over the mind. So who is going to control the mind? The buddhi. Buddhi always tells. But then the mind, does you think the mind listens? No, it doesn't listen. So you, the soul, is like the person who is sitting in the chariot. Mind is the charioteer. So the boss is sitting in the chariot, is like the driver. So mind is like the charioteer, and the senses are the horses. This is a beautiful analogy, very traditional analogy, but it works good. So if the real person is the soul, and then the driver is the mind. So if he lets the driver take control, then he is not going to go where he needs to go. The driver will take him where he wants to go. Now, what about the driver? The driver has to be in control of the horses, which are the five in nature. So if the driver, charioteer, is not in control of the horses, then the horses will take where they want to take, which will be disaster. So when the senses are in control, the disaster is huge. But when the chariot is in control, you won't go where you need to go. It will still be a disaster. So what needs to be done? So the person who is sitting in there, the owner, the boss who is riding the chariot, has to be in complete control of both the mind and the senses. So that's exactly what is here in this Sama and Dhamma. So the Sama is more the internal control of, and then the Dhamma is external senses. So Samahakaha, Mano Nigraha, control over the mind. So the boss, the person inside, has to control the driver or the charioteer. Dhamahakaha, so he also makes to make sure that the driver controls the horses. So mind controls the senses. So what are the senses that you're talking about? Like you see here, this is what's happening. The mind is the person or the lady in this blue robe. And then the senses, all these five senses. This is a beautiful painting that's available in the internet. So this one is the eye, here is the nose, and that's your ear, and that's your sense of touch, that one, and the sense of taste. So these are the five senses. So put the heart right there, the sense of taste with the tongue sticking out. So this is beautiful. So then when these horses are uncontrollable, and the mind is in trouble. So now the rider is scared. But this from the Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan talks about the same thing. Yada hinendriyarteshu na karmasvanusajjate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudhastatochyate. So same thing Bhagavan talks about the indriyas. When a man renouncing all the thoughts is not attached to the sense objects and actions, so to have attained yoga or a balanced state. So that's what Shankara also says, that Shamaha Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradham Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Vidhiyate. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna Adhikarinam Moksha Sadhana Bhutam Tattva Viveka Prakaram Bhakshyamaha. Bhakshyamaha. We are going to teach. Shankara is just using a plural here. Why is using a plural? Because this is not him. This is a tradition. We just saw that Guru Parampara, how it's starting from Narayana, all those things. Narayanam Padmavashishtam Saktim Chatatputra Parashara Panchadam Vyasam Sukham Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yoga. So all this. So this is the entire tradition. So that is why this tradition is teaching, not me. So Vakshyamaha. So we are going to teach. So what you are teaching, what are you going to teach? He says we are going to teach prakaram. So what is the prakaram? Vakshyamaha. What prakaram? A method. What method? Viveka prakaram. So he says Vakshyamaha, we are going to teach. What are you going to teach? Prakaram, method. What prakaram? Viveka prakaram. So what method? A method of discriminative understanding. Viveka prakaram. So what kind of Viveka prakaram? Tattva Viveka prakaram. So what is the Tattva Viveka prakaram can do for me? It's a moksha sadhana bhutam. It is a means, it's an instrument for your moksha, for your liberation. So what are you going to teach? What are you going to teach? We are going to teach a method. What method? A method of discriminative understanding. This is moksha sadhana bhutam. So this is the sadhana means an instrument for moksha, because the sadhanam, with the sadhanam, what you do? You do achieve the sadhyam. And what are you? You are the sadhaka. So the sadhaka, with the help of the sadhanam, achieves the sadhyam. So then the question comes, okay, who is the sadhaka? Or who are you teaching? Who is the sadhaka? Then he says, who are qualified and entitled? Who are the adhikari? So that's how this sequence goes. This is how it's going to be the entire Tattva in the form of dialogue, like prose dialogue between Shishya and Guru. So sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikarinam. So we're going to see this, teach this for adhikaris who are entitled, who are the qualified people for moksha. So what is the qualification? So what kind of qualification? They have to be completely in complete possession of these four qualities. Sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. Sampanna means that you have to have that in fullness. You can't have just 50% of this qualification. Sampanna. You have to be filled with these fourfold qualities. Sadhana chatushtaya. You have to be filled with these fourfold qualities. So moksha sadhana bhutam. This moksha. Who are you going to teach? For the adhikaris. So who are the adhikaris? So one who should have in full capacity have what? The sadhana chatushtaya, the fourfold qualification. So what are those fourfold qualifications? By the way, this is a picture of Swami Brahmananda Saraswati, who was a Shankaracharya of Jyotirmat, who was my guru's guru. Call him Gurudev. Jai Gurudev is the word that we used to greet each other when we were Maharshi, which is now used by all kind of organization that's brought out of Maharshis. So this is the great stalwart of a saint, Sakshat Parabrahmam, Brahmananda Saraswati. Well, we have his picture in our Hall of Saints. So Adhikari. So Sadhana Chatushtaya Kim. So this is very simple Sanskrit dialogue. Kim means what? What is Sadhana Chatushtaya? What were four qualifications? Then the Guru answers, Nitya Vastu Vivekaha, number one. These are the fourfold, right? So there are four items. One is Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. That is number one.
Number 2, Iha Mutrartha Falabhoga Viragaha. Iha Mutrartha Falabhoga Viragaha, number 2. Number 3, Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi. The 6 qualities including Shama, Dhamma. So that is Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi. Then the 4th one, Mumukshutvam Chayati. These are all Mumukshutva Chayati. These are all the fourfold qualifications. Then each one he is going to describe. So Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. This is number 1. Number 2, Iha Mutrartha Falabhoga Viragaha. So number 3, Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi. Number 4, Mumukshutvam Chayati Sadhana Chatushthayaha. Okay? So in brief, you can say these are the 4 qualities: Viveka, Viraga or Vairagya, then Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam. These are the 4 qualities. Then Shankara explains each one in detail. So Viveka, what is Viveka? Like Viveka is, he is there, he has given a little definition right there when he said Viveka. And he says, what kind of Viveka? That Viveka is to understand, to discriminate what is eternal and what is ephemeral, what is permanent and what is transient. So Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka, the discriminatory knowledge about what is permanent and what is not permanent. Nitya Anitya. Nitya permanent, Nitya is eternal, and Anitya is ephemeral, transient. So that differentiation, that discrimination, that is number quality 1. Iha Mutrartha Phala Bhoga Viraga. Viraga also he gives a little definition, but then he explains in detail later. So what kind of viraga have? Dispassion or indifference to the fruits of enjoyment of this world or the other world. So he includes both here. So that is why we have to be dispassionate or indifferent to the enjoyment of the fruits of your efforts for enjoying this world or doing all these rituals to go to heaven and enjoy the other world. So from both, you have to have dispassion, detachment and dispassion from the fruits of joys of this world and the other world. Then the Shatka Sampattihi, the 6 qualities. And then he goes in detail what are the 6 qualities and he explains each one. And finally, Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam is a desire for liberation. What we will do in today's class, we will start from number 4, Mumukshutvam, because this entire treatise is for Mumukshutvam. So what is Mumukshutvam? And also, if you remember here, when he mentioned this fourfold qualification, Shankara didn't say anything about what nationality you have to be, what race you have to be, what caste you have to be, what kind of upbringing you need to have. None of that. None of that, absolutely. So this is your individual personality. All these qualities that he has mentioned is what you are as an individual, irrespective of your where you are born, who you were born to, and what you are doing. None of this. So this is what you are as a person. So these are the qualifications. So that he demonstrated even in his own life, that this knowledge is for everybody. Here we have this story, famous Chandala story that happened in Banaras, where when he says that the Chandala was walking in his space, apasara, apasara, when he says move away, then the Chandala just stops and he says apasara, says, you said move away? Then he keeps looking at him. So really? Okay. So move away. If you ask this body to move away, according to your own teaching, this is Annamaya Kosha and it's unreal. Okay. On the other hand, if you asked my soul to move away, according to your teaching, my soul and your soul are one and the same. So did you ask me to move away or you to move away? So Shankara, right then and there, composed this Manisha Panchakam. Whoever taught me this teaching, whether he be a Chandala or Guru, his feet I worship. So same way he followed this. So all his disciples are shocked that, see all the faces there. That's what he's doing. So he not only practiced, he not only preached, but also practiced. But that's the truth. So that is why even here you see, when he lays these fourfold qualifications, you don't see anything related to varnashramas, or related to nationality or race or individuality or man or woman, none of that. He didn't say you have to be a man. No. So this is all you have to have. So whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't really matter. So that this is what are you as a person. This is mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam is a desire. This is how he describes it in Tattvabodh. Mumukshutvam came, the disciple asked, what is mumukshutvam? He says, moksha me bhuyat iti ichha. So let me be established in that moksha. Let me attain liberation. Moksha me bhuyat. So iti ichha. Ichha means desire. So once one who has this desire to be liberated, let me attain liberation. So he is a mumukshu. Now, for a proper definition of this mumukshu, more detailed definition, we have to go back to Shankara's another Prakarana Grantha, which is Viveka Chudamani, which is much larger than Tattvabodh. And his verse number 27, he defines Ahankaradi dehantan bandhan ajnana kalpitan. Ajnana, the ignorance. Ahankaradi dehantan bandhan ajnana kalpitan, the ignorance. What kind of ignorance? Bandhan, that ignorance that binds you. What kind of ignorance? That starts right from the concept of who you think you are, like I, the concept of I, starting from the concept of I till the concept of your body. Ahankar Adi, beginning from that concept of who you are, who you think you are. Adi means beginning. Antan, ending with the concept of who you are, Adi. So in between there are so many. What are they? I think, oh, I am this buddhi, I am this mind. I am this, I am this, I am that. So I'm 5 feet 10. So then it comes to the body. My hands are like this, my feet are like this, my face is like this. So that is why he summarizes ahankaradi from the wrong concept of who you are until the concept of your body that you think you are. All these. Now you can extend this even further. Now this concept of ignorance doesn't end with the body. Now it also extends to that this is mine, that is mine, and this is my house, that is my car. So this is my job, I am this, I am the CEO, or I am this. So all this now, this not only ends with Dehanta. Now if Shankara were here today, he would have extended this to an infinite level. So Ahankara, company antan, CEO antan, or whatever antan. President antan, all these ajnana kalpitan bandhan. How do you remove this? Swaswarupa avabodhena, by the teaching of who really you are. Swaswarupa tata drishtaha swarupe avasthanam, Patanjali. So when this bandhan, when this chitta vritti nirodha has happened, those layers are gone. Then drishtaha swarupe avasthanam, then the seer, then the witness in his real self. So this is what Shankara says here, that from that ignorance, this swarupa avabodhena, by the teaching, by the knowledge of who your real form is, you break these shackles. So you break the shackles. So this is still not a definition of mumukshu. So this is the process, this is the method. So he says, it's a desire to achieve this through all this method. Swaswarup avabodhena, ichcha, moktum ichcha mumukshita. So mumukshita is the one who has an ichcha, who has a desire to get liberated. But how does he get liberated? Swaswarupa avabodhena, from the real from the concept of what is your real form is. By that concept, by that knowledge of who you really are, and liberation from what? From this bondage. What kind of bondage? That results from the ignorance. Ignorance of what? The ignorance of who you think who you are, ending with the ignorance of who you think this body is, that you think this body is. What a definition. Only Shankara could do this in such simple, logical physics equation. So that is mumukshu. That's why I started with this. Then he goes into detail. This, unless you have this, moktamiksha mumukshita, then don't even go any further. If you think kandade kachi, kondade kolam, if you think this is all that here is, and this is all the dance and drama, this is all the party that is here is, if you are content with that, don't even bother. Nandavanathilorandi Nalaru Madamai Kuyavane Vendi Kondu Vandanoru Tondi Nandavanathilorandi Nalaru Madamai Kuyavane Vendi Kondu Vandanodi Tondi Ade Kutadi Kutadi Potudai Tandi Nandavanathilorandi Tandanananetane Tanatandananane Tanatandanane Tandanatane. This is from one of the 18 Siddhas. He says, there was this Andi, there was this mendicant in a Nandavanam, in a garden. Nandavanam. So what kind of Andi, what kind of a mendicant? Nandavanathil or Andi, Nalaru Madamai Kuyavanai Vendi, he requested the potter, prayed to the potter, the pot maker, please make me a pot, please make me a pot, please make me. So the potter makes a pot working for 6 + 4 months. Nal Aru Madamai Kuyavanai Vendi. So he is requested. So the potter here is the mother. So the mother is the one who makes this pot. Who's the pot? It's you, the body. So 6 + 4 months the potter makes this body. So because we pray to the mother, oh mother, please keep me safe in your womb, keep me safe in your womb. So Nalar Madamai Kuyavanai Vendi, so begging and praying. So then the mother made this pot and brought this out. Kondu Vandan or Tondi. So he brought this. Tondi means it's like it's a nice vessel. So nice vessel, which is your body, perfectly made and brought out. Kondu Vandan or. So what did he do with that? What did he do with that? He worked so hard, he prayed so hard. Mother did her job, the God did his job, everybody did their job. But then what he did after all this? Kutadi. He partied and partied with the pot and finally dropped it and broke it. Gone. This beautiful body given by God is wasted. Wasted. Andavanathilorandi Nalaru Madamai Koyavanai Vendi Kondu Vandanoru Tondi Kutadi Kutadi Potu Udaitandi Epiravi Rapin in Epiravi Varumo Yedu Varumo. His pot is gone. I don't know what kind of pot I'm going to next. Could be a frog. Seriously. So then Kabir beautifully says, Mati kahe kumar se tu kya ronde mohe ek din aisa aayega कि मैं रोंदूंगी तो Oh Potter, beautiful analogies. You know, our Indian saints have said this in such a simple terms. You can't put it more simple than this. Terms of a pot and mud. The clay is talking. The clay is talking to the Kumar. Mati kahe Kumar se, hey, tu kya ronde moh hai? Oh, potter, you think you are grinding me? The potter just grinds some mud and then makes the clay and all that. Tu kya ronde moh hai? Oh, what, you think you are grinding me? Funny. Ek din aisa aayega. There will be a day, one day will come. One day will come, then what will happen? Main rondungi to I grind you. When in those days, now they don't. Now you get the atta right from Patel Brothers. In those days, they put the gehu in the chakki. Chalati chakki dekh ke. Looking at the chakki, Kabir became udas. Gaye Kabir udas. So there is this housewife who has this little bit of this gehu on the side to be ready to turn into flour, wheat flour. So she takes a handful, puts it there, and then grinds the chakki, right? Another handful, puts it there, grinds the chakki. Eventually, you think there will be any more gehu, any more wheat? No. So all this gone. So chalati chakki dekhe gaye kabir udas. So he says this sky and the earth are the two portions of the chakki. The earth is the bottom portion and the sky is the top portion that turns. So that turns with a handle. So between these two grinding stones, sabutna bachai. Not even one handful will be left out. Every 100 years, gone. Sabutna bachai. Not one person will remain here. Every piece of grain will be gone through that ground. So, so simply, people have said this. So, going on. So that is the first quality. You have to have the desire. So that moktam iksha mumukshita, one who has the desire to get liberated, ajnana kalpitan bandhan, from the bondage resulting from ignorance, and how that ignorance comes about, how the bondage comes about, caused by the wrong notions, beginning with the sense of I and ending with the sense of the body. Swaswarupa avabhodena, with the help of the knowledge of the self. And who is a jignasu? We always confuse these two words, mumukshu and jignasu. Mumukshu is the one who has the desire. Moktam iksha mumuksha. Who is a jignasu? The jignasu who wants the desire alone is not enough. If I have a desire to make money, then I should do something about it. Either go to college, get some qualification, get a good job, or start a company or something. I should have a knowledge and the means, the sadhanam, to achieve the sadhyam. So the one who has a desire is mokshu, is the desire for liberation. Now the next stage, then the desire for moksha should transform itself into desire to know. So just that desire for moksha should turn itself into a desire to know. So now the desire for the goal should turn itself into a desire to understand the ways to achieve the goal. To learn the ways to achieve the goal, so desire to know, jnata miksha jignasu, mokta miksha mumuksha. So that's the difference between mumukshu and jignasu. The fundamental questions of life, which are three in nature. Number one, who am I? What is my nature? Who really am I? And number two, what is all these things that are around me? This world, these people, these beings, these creatures, these rocks, these trees. And number three, what is my relationship to all this? And is there a supreme being that connects all this? Who am I? And what is all this around me? And how I am connected to all this? So if I am connected to all this, what is that one being that connects me? How do I call it? God or Brahman? Tattva Bodham covers those topics very clearly. To know this, you need to have certain qualifications. So, Atman, what is this knowledge that will teach you this equation, these relationships? Atma Tattva Viveka. And then what is this world around me? Jagat ki Utpatti. And then, of course, what we said, the major question, Jiva Brahma Aikyam, the oneness of the Jiva and the Parabrahman, the unity just of everything. Jiva Brahma Aikyam. And then how using this knowledge, you become liberated, Jivan Muktaha. That's the final goal. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannadhikarinam Moksha Sadhana Bhutam Tattva Viveka Prakaram Lakshyamaham Sadhana Chatushtaya Kim Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaham Iha Mutrartha Falabhoga Viragaha Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi Mumukshun Cheti. So this is all about Adhikari. Sadhana Chatushtaya Kim. O Guru, what is Sadhana Chatushtayam? Number one, Nitya Nitya Vasta Vivekaha, the discriminated knowledge that differentiates what is real and what is unreal, what really matters, what does not matter, what we really need to know, and what we really do not need to know. That is Vivekaha. Nitya Anitya Vastu. What is transient, temporary, and what is permanent and eternal. Or in other words, the discrimination, what is ephemeral, transient, and what is eternal and everlasting. That's number one. Sadhana Chatushtayam, Viveka, discrimination. So once you have the discrimination, you have the dispassion, that is quality number two, a dispassion and indifference. Iha mutrartha falabhoga viragaha, because if you're lost in this, iha mutrartha falabhoga, then we will not, the discrimination is of no use. You may know, oh, this is the one I need to pursue, but if you're lost in the enjoyment of the joys of this world, or looking forward to enjoying the joys of the other world, you are not qualified. And even if you have that, you may be dispassionate, but then what kind of a personality you are, what kind of a person are you are, your inner self, your intrinsic nature, that is what makes a big difference here. So you may have discrimination, you may have dispassion, indifference to the joys, but then within yourself, you need to have certain intrinsic qualities. Samadhi Shatka means 6 qualities. Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi. So even though you may have Viveka, you may have Vairagya, but if you don't fulfill any of these 6 conditions, if you are not, these 6 qualities are not in you, then you fail. Even if you have all this, the main thing is you need to have desire for moksha. So we'll see in detail Viveka. So even though he described Viveka very briefly in the first section itself, that it's discriminating between what is real and unreal. So now he goes in little more detail here when the student asked this question. So you said Viveka is Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. You said the difference between real and unreal. But now you have to tell me what is real and what is unreal. The student asked this question. So Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha Kaha. Kaha means what? So what is the eternal and what is ephemeral? What is Nitya? What is ephemeral? Then Shankara answers these questions by only one definition. He doesn't define what is unreal, but he defines what is real. So with that definition, he eventually the other question gets answered. Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahmaha. Ekam Brahmaha. There is only one reality here. Everything else is Anitya. The only thing that is eternal, so he's not defining what is Anitya, what is non-eternal. He's just saying there's only one thing, that is Brahman alone is real. Everything else is unreal. Ayameva Nitya Anitya Vastu Veka. This alone. Ayameva. So what has not changed ever, something that has never changed ever. So that is Nitya. The real you in you, the real you in you has donned so many robes. 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, family man, husband, or your wife, or your mother-in-law, your daughter-in-law, so many robes you have donned. But then there is only one thing that was donning all these robes. And then that robes kept changing, and we always thought that we were that robe, whatever we were putting on. We played so many dramas, we acted so many roles, and all the time we thought that we were that, we were that, we were that, identifying ourselves with the role the director gave us, and then which kept changing. Oh, now I am this, I'm not that. So this is eternal flux, eternal change, which is Anitya. But there was one person that knew that I am this, I am this, I am that, and that you in you, the essential you in you, is the eternal, and that's Anitya. Okay, then the next qualification, this is the second of the Sadhana Chatushtayam. Chatushtayam means there are fourfold qualities. So once you have the discrimination, what is my next, what I need, another qualification, I need dispassion, I need indifference, iha mutrartha phala bhoga viragaha. Then the student asks, viragaha kaha? So viragaha is iha swarga bhogeshu icharahityam. Iha means the joys of this world, and Swarga, he specifically says Swarga, even though the Muttarartha was a little general term, but here is a very specific term, Swarga. So he has Swarga Bhogeshu Icharahityam. He very specifically says Icharahitam, without the desire, absence of desire for the enjoyment of the joys of this world and the other world. So that desire should be absent. That is Viragaha. This, some of you might remember, that Rudram, we have this verse, Hrasvaya cha Vamanaya cha. So we talked about Vaman Avataram. Vaman Avatara, Lord Vishnu asks for land that he can measure with his feet, 3 feet of land. So Bali, not Bahubali, promise was done, the offering was done, and then he grew himself 1 foot, measured the earth, 2nd foot he measured the heavens, 3rd foot he put it right on top of Bali's head. Now, what is this 1 foot that measures the earth? That is Iha Bhogam. So in order for that moksha, for the liberation, you have to completely dispassionate, renounce the joys of this world. So that 1 foot that measures this entire world here took care of that. So the second, when he measured the heaven, so Mutra Artha Boha, Swarga Boha was taken care of. So that is also eliminated. And with the third one, it's still, even though you may be all this, you may be a great yogi, renouncing everything, Iha Mutra Artha Boga Viragaha, so all this you may be Swarga Bhoga, all this you renounce, but still that little ego in you, oh, I renounced everything, I am a great yogi, that is the hardest one to go. Even Shaiva Siddhantam tells you that you may even achieve the feet of Lord Shiva, but that this ego, that little bit of that anamalam they call it, that is a hard one to go. So the third step of Lord Vishnu takes care of that by pushing ego down. Unless all these 3 are completed, there is no moksha. So that is the Vamana Avatara. And then when you study Vedanta, the first casualty is, like Swami Dayananda would say, heaven. Because first casualty is heaven. Now, how do we get this detachment? What is this enjoyment of this world? Even your experience tells you that all the effort that you put in, right from day one, going to school, elementary school, passing the grades, getting the ranks, and getting admitted in high school and college, getting a good job, the effort and the energy, plus the energy you put in to achieve the results, that equation is not a balanced equation. Because the effort and the energy that you put in is greater, much greater, unproportionately greater than what you get out of all this effort and energy, right? The end results, the transitory pleasures, the hopes and joys, because it's never ending. Because if you got the result of what you wanted, if this is what I want to get, because I'm studying so hard, I need to get the rank, I need to get in college, I need to get a good job. So somebody from a good family, a good father-in-law will think this is a good guy, he has a good job, so I'll give my daughter in marriage to him. If your effort and energy results in what you needed, and the effort would cease right there, but this never happens. Because till we go to the creation ground, we are always doing something. We're always making an effort. We're always putting an energy into something. So that means that whatever you are looking for is never achieved. What was never achieved? We're looking in the wrong place. Right? We saw last class, there's only two places you could look, one outside, one inside. So this simple equation very clearly tells you that we have been looking for it in the wrong place. And the reason we are looking for it in the wrong place, because you never get the end results. Or whatever the end results you get is unproportionately smaller than the effort, infinitely smaller than the effort that you put in. And because why we say that you never got to your goal, because the effort is always on and on and on and on and on. Energy is kept spending on and on. Okay. Now, once you realize this passion and that and detachment to the joys of this world, forget about the other world. Even here, don't worry about the other world now. Even here, when you get detachment, not worried about what you're going to achieve, what you need to fulfill, what you need to hold on. When you get detachment, even here, right here in this world, you go, okay, then there is a possibility of real love and relationship, what they call unconditional love, when there is detachment. And there is also greater appreciation of beauty and truth of something, freedom and fearlessness and fulfillment and joy, because then there is no passion, there is only dispassion. So when there is dispassion, you appreciate everything beautifully, everything, and then we are not wearing any dark glasses or green glasses to look at the world. We are just seeing it as it is, the beauty as it is. So that's why it's passion and dispassion. And then the other result of this passion is that your limitations get unshackled. So in other words, you become free with the unlimited you that you are looking for is achieved once you have this dispassion and discrimination and detachment. That fulfillment that you're looking for is achieved. So how do we know this? We know this from experience, that unconditional love, unselfish service. There is a joy in unselfish service. There is joy in unconditional love. And then what the Shastras tell us, Taittiriya Upanishad tells us so beautifully, that every joy, right starting from the human level up to the celestial level, is limited. is limited. Not only Taittiriya Upanishad tells us that every joy that you have bhoga, the happiness you're looking for, is limited, and the Taittiriya Upanishad, Anandavalli, even puts a number on it. We saw that when we were discussing Anuvaka 8. Then I'll just go through the slides briefly, so recapitulate your memory how clearly the Taittiriya Upanishad quantifies the joy. When the moment you quantify something, it is limited. It is limited. So the moment it says this is 1 unit of joy, that is a definition, which means now that joy is limited because now you quantify it. Or when I say 1 millimeter, it is limited. And then I can say, okay, 10 times is 1 millimeter, 1 centimeter. That is limited. 10 times 1 centimeter is 10 centimeters, limited. 10 times is 10 centimeters, 100 centimeters, limited. Now, 10 times of that 1 meter is 10 meter, again limited. So 10 times that 10 meter is again limited. So like this, beautifully, Taittiriya Upanishad Anandavali takes us and clearly tells us that everything is limited, and the only thing that is unlimited is the joy of that Parabrahman. So even to enjoy this, whatever limited joy that you have, here, the Taittiriya Upanishad also puts a condition that Shrotriyasya akamaha tasya. The akamaha, the dispassion has to be there. That's only even you will be able to have this fulfillment. Akamaha tasya, dispassion. Shrotriyasya, you have to have belief in the Shastras. Shruti, Shastra, Shrotriyasya akamaha tasya. That's how every line ends in that definition of that Anandavalli definition. So this is the 1 unit. Yuvajat sadhu yuva adhyayakaha ashishto dridhishto balishtaha tasyayam prithvi sarva vityatya purna syat sayeko manusha anandaha. This is 1 unit of a human joy. What is that? A good youth, well versed in scriptures, well disciplined, resolute, and very strong. That's a tall order there. Even for the 1 unit of human joy, this is a real tall order. A good youth, well versed in scriptures, well disciplined, resolute, and very strong. So that is only 1 unit of joy. Only 1 unit. Okay, that's 1 millimeter, right? Okay. What else? Te ye shatam manushya gandharvanamanandaha sayego deva gandharvanamanandaha srotriyasya chakamahatasya. So on and so forth, it goes on. That this is the category. So even the joys of these devas, they're limited. Joy of Indra is limited. Joy of Brahaspati is limited. Joy of Prajapati is limited. So Brahman alone is unlimited. So today our class focus is different, so we'll move on. So the first 2 qualities were Viveka, Vairagya, and the third of the Sadhana Chatushtayam, because it's a 4-fold qualification. So in the third category, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, there are 6 aspects. 6 aspects: Samadhama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhana. So Shankara, when the student asked him, what are these Sadhana Chatushtayam, what are these 4-fold qualifications? The third one he mentioned was Viveka Vairagya, third Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. So then the question is asked, what is the Samadhi Sadhana Sampatti Ka? What is the Samadhi? Then Shankara says, Samadhama, which means Samaha, Tamaha, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanancha iti. Now what do you think the student is going to ask? That's what happens. So he says, what is Shama? Samaha kaha. What is Shama? Then Shankara says, Mano nigraha. Next question. Okay. Damaha kaha. What is dama? Then chakshuradiba hendriya nigraha. In very simple terms, it defines. Shamaha kaha. What is shama? Control or mastery over the mind. Shankara starts with the mind first. Now, why he says control over the mind? Because if you remember in the very beginning of our very classes, it was in 2016, sometime in July, before we started Shatarudriyam, in the Hanuman Chalisa, we talked in detail the psychology of how the mind and the senses become partners and then cheat the intellect. So we discussed this in detail. So here it's very briefly mentioned. That's exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Samaha kaha. What is sama? Mano nigraha. So control over the mind. So who is going to control the mind? The buddhi. Buddhi always tells. But then the mind, does you think the mind listens? No, it doesn't listen. So you, the soul, is like the person who is sitting in the chariot. Mind is the charioteer. So the boss is sitting in the chariot. It's like the driver. So mind is like the charioteer. And the senses are the horses. This is a beautiful analogy. Very traditional analogy, but it works good. So if the real person is the soul, and then the driver is the mind, so if he lets the driver take control, then he is not going to go where he needs to go. The driver will take him where he wants to go. Now, what about the driver? The driver has to be in control of the horses, which are the five in nature. So if the driver, charioteer, is not in control of the horses, then the horses will take where they want to take, which will be disaster. So when the senses are in control, the disaster is huge. But when the chariot is in control, you won't go where you need to go. It will still be a disaster. So what needs to be done? So the person who is sitting in there, the owner, the boss who is riding the chariot, has to be in complete control of both the mind and the senses. So that's exactly what is here in this sama and dhamma. So the sama is more the internal control of, and then the dhamma is external senses. So samahakkaha, mano nigraha, control over the mind. So the boss, the person inside, has to control the driver or the charioteer. Dhamahakkaha, so he also makes to make sure that the driver controls the horses. So mind controls the senses. So what are the senses that you're talking about? Like you see here, this is what's happening. The mind is the person or the lady in this blue robe. And then the senses, all the five senses. This is a beautiful painting that's available in the internet. So this one is the eye. Here is the nose. That's your ear. And that's your sense of touch, that one. And the sense of taste. So these are the five senses. So the heart right there, the sense of taste with the tongue sticking out. So this is beautiful. So then when these horses are uncontrollable, and the mind is in trouble. So now the rider is scared. But this from the Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan talks about the same thing. Yada hinendriyarteshu na karmasvanusajjate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudhastatochyate. So same thing Bhagavan talks about the indriyas. When a man renouncing all the thoughts is not attached to the sense objects and actions, so to have attained yoga or a balanced state. So that's what Shankara also says, that shamaha.
Vasudevendra Yogendram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Vidhiyate.
Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna Adhikarinam Moksha Sadhana Bhutam Tattva Viveka Prakaram Vakshyamaha. Vakshyamaha. We are going to teach. Shankara is just using a plural here. Why is using a plural? Because this is not him. This is a tradition. We just saw that Guru Parampara, how it's starting from Narayana, all those things. Narayanam Padmavashishtam Saktim Chatatputra Parashara Panchadandyasam Sukham Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yoga. So all this. So this is the entire tradition. So that is why this tradition is teaching, not me. So Vakshyamaha. So we are going to teach. So what you are teaching, what are you going to teach? He says we are going to teach prakaram. So what is the prakaram? Vakshyamaha. What prakaram? A method. What method? Viveka prakaram. So he says Vakshyamaha, we are going to teach. What are you going to teach? Prakaram, method. What prakaram? Viveka prakaram. So what method? A method of discriminative understanding. Viveka prakaram. So what kind of Viveka prakaram? Tattva Viveka prakaram. So what is the Tattva Viveka prakaram can do for me? It's a moksha sadhana bhutam. It is a means, it's an instrument for your moksha, for your liberation. So what are you going to teach? What are you going to teach? We are going to teach a method. What method? A method of discriminative understanding. It's moksha sadhana bhutam. So this is the sadhana means, an instrument for moksha, because the sadhanam, with the sadhanam, what you do? You do achieve the sadhyam. And what are you? You are the sadhaka. So the sadhaka, with the help of the sadhanam, achieves the sadhyam. So then the question comes, okay, who is the sadhaka? Or who are you teaching? Who is the sadhaka? Then he says, who are qualified and entitled? Who are the adhikari? So that's how this sequence goes. This is how it's going to be the entire tattva bodh in the form of dialogue, like prose dialogue between Shishya and Guru. So sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikarinam. So we're going to see this, teach this for adhikaris who are entitled, who are the qualified people for moksha. So what is the qualification? So what kind of qualification? They have to be completely in complete possession of these four qualities. Sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. Sampanna means that you have to have that in fullness. You